Hi, this is Dr. Daniel Jacobazzi from phyxMe Physical Therapy, and I'm going to talk today about nitric oxide again. I actually wrote a blog post quite some time back about nitric oxide and how it relates to blood pressure, and how when we were seeing patients who had been on blood pressure medication for a long time, they tended to progress to neuropathy and have neuropathic issues, neuropathic pain. And so, I got my little cheat sheet right here, and found a great article and actually also an excellent YouTube video by a doctor named Dr. Lou Ingrasso, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize for his studies on nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is actually a gas that is produced in the body, and it is needed by the body to relax the smooth muscle of your vasculature, so your arteries and your capillaries. And what that does, it allows them to expand and contract, and that expansion and contraction is what helps regulate your blood pressure. Now, there are also many other things going on. So when we talk about the nitric oxide, so when blood slows down in the arteries or in your circulatory system, what happens is that the blood will start to thicken. And of course, when blood thickens, what does it do? It clots. And so we get clotting, and so that can cause problems. So that clotting can lead to strokes, it can lead to heart attacks, it can lead to myocarditis. Another consequence of slow or lower blood flow is that the cholesterol can plaque in areas that are irritated and inflamed. We get more plaquing, but if there's high flow and good flow, plaquing is not as likely to happen. And so nitric oxide, very important. It also plays a role in sexual function, erectile dysfunction for males and women as well. If men or women are deficient in nitric oxide, then what happens is that sexual arousal and sexual performance can be affected dramatically. And especially for men after 40 produce as much as 50% less nitric oxide. That's a big deal because, again, we have to have nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is used by the brain. Matter of fact, the majority of the nitric oxide in our body is located in our brain. It helps with learning, it helps with general memory, it helps with recall, and of course, again, blood flow. That your brain is using a massive amount of energy, and so that blood is how the nutrition is carried to your brain. So those are all things that are affected dramatically by nitric oxide. And so the other thing, again, I mentioned again previously, is that the change in nitric oxide seems to have an effect on insulin sensitivity, and that's extremely important. Because if we're already having insulin sensitivity or insulin resistance from a diet issue, especially, for example, we're type 2 diabetic, you're getting like a multiplier effect. And so that needs to be addressed. And so when we talk about our program and how our program functions, one of the key points is boosting that nitric oxide level, as well as changing how we eat. And one of the things that we do in office that not many people do is that we also have exercise with oxygen therapy. Well, what is that? Well, nitric oxide. What is nitric oxide? Nitrogen and oxygen. And so oxygen is a precursor. So if we're doing exercise with oxygen and we're having patients use 96% pure oxygen to breathe, they have a mask while they're exercising, the level of oxygen in their body is going to be increased, and their ability to create nitric oxide is increased. And that might explain why we get such quick results, quicker than I expect in terms of symptom relief for many of our patients. Certainly not all, but a lot of the patients with significant amounts of sensory loss report to me in as little as a month to 6 weeks that, hey, I'm sleeping through the night, I don't have much pain anymore, I can stand without pain, which is great to hear. And I wasn't entirely sure why that was happening. And now, after reading more about nitric oxide and learning what I did from the interview with Dr. Ingrasso, who again won the Nobel Peace Prize for his study on nitric oxide, it's become apparent that absolutely has to be a focus. And it's already been a focus, but now we understand why it is having the effect that it has. So if you're doing a program, any program, it doesn't even have to be ours, and you're not addressing the issue with nitric oxide, and how that plays into your neuropathy, then you need to consider it. We actually have a supplement here, actually several supplements that can be applied, number one, externally to boost nitric oxide production, as well as taken supplementally, powders, and then actually we have a new supplement coming online shortly that has been shown to improve it in as little as 2 to 3 weeks, and they actually have a testing kit available for that. So I'm excited to add this all to our process. Every day what we're doing is we're trying to work to improve our results for you, our patients. So if you're having issues with neuropathy and you'd like help, please give us a call. We're ready, and for the patients that we get accept into our program, we're getting a 97% success rate, which is just phenomenal. So thank you. Have a great day. Our contact information is below.